Okay, welcome to another Simple Invest video. So from this video onwards, I'll be starting a new series called the Automated Trading Chronicles. Because for this, maybe I'll explain a bit on my background. So I've been trading automated trading software for the last 2 years, and I've been doing this full time. Meaning 2 years ago, I quit my full-time job and I dived into it all in. That means trying to rely on trading as my main source of income. I knew it wouldn't be easy. I knew it'd be hard. And I gave myself maybe a year or a year plus to start to get income from it. But lo and behold, actually, until today, 2 years later, I still haven't got a consistent income and profits from automated trading. So it was harder than I thought, and I had to rely on my savings to survive. And also I had to look for sidelines, like doing some part-time jobs. And I also do some online courses that I teach that brings me a little bit of income. So it really helps me to tide over. But all in all, I've been living very frugally, trying to spend as little money as possible to make my savings run as long as possible. But okay, enough about that. So mainly what I'm running now as my automated trading strategy is called the Reverse Trend Trader EA. Personally, I've developed all my own trading strategies. So I actually run my trading strategies on the MetaTrader 4 platform, and I trade Forex pairs mainly. But of course, for my broker, they do allow trading certain CFDs, for example, like natural gas USD, and precious metals, and even like Bitcoin versus USD. Precious metals like palladium versus USD, and gold versus USD. And certain CFD indexes, for example, S&P 500 indexes, which are all CFDs as well. That means contracts for differences. And they do allow the MetaTrader 4 platform to trade CFDs, but personally it's not been my focus, so I haven't been really diving into it. Okay, where was I? Back to saying that I actually program and I develop my own expert advisors, meaning my own automated trading programs. And I test them extensively before I run them live. But from what I've understood from my past 2 years of experience in trading is that whatever is run on a backtest doesn't really translate to actual live profits. And sometimes they do, if only we had the patience to stick with them. So back to what I'm using now will be the Reverse Trend Trader. So basically what it does is it tries to trade a reverse trade that it's opposite of the current trend. That means we're trying to buy a reversal. So far for testing, it's been running pretty good. For example, let's test from the 11th of March to the 3rd. Okay, maybe make it 30th of March, which is yesterday, because I'm recording this on the 31st of March in Singapore time. And let's max out the speed, check the settings. So for my settings wise, I try to take profit 2 times the average true range, or ATR for short, compared to 1 times the average true range as the stop loss. So technically it should be a 2:1 profit to loss ratio. Technically it should, but as I'm having experience today, actually when one of my trades went live today, it really didn't put the take profit at 2. I think it put it at maybe 1.6 or 1.5 times. I couldn't really understand why. It could be because of the spread from the broker. So I'm not too sure. So part of my series, the reason I want to do such video, so-called recordings of vlogs per se, is to record my experiences as an automated trader, the ups and downs, and if you're the viewer, to let the viewer understand that, yeah, this doing full-time automated trading Forex isn't an easy life. It's pretty tough actually from what I've understand in this past 2 years, but this is how to sort of like chronicle my journey through it. Okay, so back to take profit should be 2 times of my 1 times of stop loss. So average true range for the layman viewer will be this chart. So this is an indicator called the average true range indicator. Basically, what it does is it detects what's the highs and lows of the past number of sessions I set the past number of sessions to 14. So let's say it detects the past 14 sessions, the highs and lows, and it does an average. So for example, the current average true range of the current server time, which is 8:30, is 82 pips. Or if you're running a 4-digit broker, it's 8.2 pips. So this is average. This is one average true range. So currently I'm setting my profit to 2 times of this average true range and my stop loss to 1 time of the average true range. So how does it run? Let's set my spread to 2 pips for 4-digit broker and 20 for a 5-digit broker. For now, the broker wise I'm using Onanda. Of course, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just saying as it is. I'm using Onanda, which is a 5-digit broker. So you have to take note that anything that you set in your spread, or if you're running your expert advisor, if you're setting like what we call the slippage, you have to set it to 30. I think I have a setting here. Okay, you can see this slippage. Where is it? Okay, right, trade slippage. So for the trade slippage variable, normally for a 4-digit broker, you should set it to 3. That means 3 pips. But for a 5-digit broker, 3 pips has an additional digit behind it, so you should set it to 30 instead of 3. Okay, so let's run a back test. Okay, so this is the strategy tester inbuilt in MetaTrader 4. So what it does is that if you have a expert advisor or an indicator that you like to run based on the past data, so you can actually just press Ctrl+R on MetaTrader 4. It's a shortcut to launch the strategy tester. Then you can test whatever indicators or scripts, basically indicators and expert advisors. I apologize, scripts. They can't run scripts because scripts, you simply just need to drag and drop from your navigator window on the left, which you can only see part of the portion. It's a bit cut off here. So if you're trying to run a script, just drag from this navigator window, left click, hold on, and drag it into the chart that you want to run it, and the script will run. But for strategy testers and indicators, you have to use this strategy tester module, which is inbuilt into all MetaTrader 4 software platforms, and run it like this. Okay, so you can see that currently the backtest is running, and so it will trade according to the rules that I've programmed into my expert advisor. So you can actually speed this up to maximum speed, which I'm going to do now, which is using this slider at the bottom here. So if you drag the slider to the left, you can see I drag it to number 24 earlier, or like drag it to number 23. The speed of the backtest slows down. You can zoom in. So this like the backtester is running. Then if you drag it further to the right, let's say I speed up to like 30, then you can see that the strategy tester speeds up. So in order to save time, which is what I usually like to do, I just set it to max speed, which is you drag it all to the right, then you can see that it blazes through. That means it runs it at the fastest speed that your CPU, that means your computer processing core can run it, and it's almost instant. For most cases it's almost instant, unless you have like a very big sample chart, which for MetaTrader 4 is also pretty limited as well. Okay, so we have run it, and let's look at our report. Okay, so back to some of the settings here. I've set the initial capital to 13,000 USD. The currency really doesn't matter. You can just leave it to USD for sure, because there's no Forex or currency difference that affects this. So I set this as 13 USD, which is what I currently have in my account. And my settings are as so: 2 times take profit, 1 times of stop loss. And I have this auto trade sizing, which is a algorithm that I program into my expert advisor to sort of like have a different lot size. It calculates a lot size based on how much I want to risk if I lose the trade. So in this case, I set my percentage of account balance risk. Maybe I can expand this. Yeah, percentage of account balance risk for first trade. This is just how I label it. But basically, each trade I'm trying to risk just 2.5% of my account. So let's say 2.5%, which is 0.025. I multiply by my account, which is 13,000. So if a trade stops out, I'm supposedly trying to lose around $325. And we shall see whether this is true. Let's look at the results tab at the bottom. So you can't really see this. Maybe I can drag a bit. Okay. Let's try and adjust this. Drag it up. Okay. Go to the results tab. Okay, now you guys can see this. Okay, so this is the results tab, which is oh, can I try and drag it? Nah. Okay, basically, yeah, can I? Ha, ha. Okay, yeah, so you can see extreme left. This is the results tab. All right. So you can press these tabs at the bottom left here. You can see where my mouse cursor is, so you can look through the different tabs. So if we look at the results tab, you can see that, okay, so the first trade I won, I made 375. Subsequent trades I made a bit more. So when I stop loss, it's minus 2.25, which is not really the minus 300 plus that I wanted. So second loss minus 2.36. And so on. But you can see that most of it is actually wins, which is an interesting thing, because let's check out my settings again. Okay, part of what I've set up is this exchange rate of account-based currency to chart counter currency. Okay, if this is in USD, it should be set as 1:1. Basically, this is one of the variables that I set in that will affect the trade sizing. That means how many lots it places. Because currently my account is in Singapore dollars, SGD, but most of the Forex pairs, they are based in USD. That means we say that USD is the counter currency. For example, in this pair is Euro dollar against USD. So USD is the counter currency. And I don't know whether what do you call Euro dollar? Is it the main currency or the chart currency? I'm not 100% sure. But basically, counter currency is USD. And I needed to factor in what is the current exchange rate of SGD, Singapore dollars, against, in this case, USD. But if I'm trading a different pair, for example, let's say I have Euro dollar Great Britain pound. So let's say if I'm trading Euro dollar Great Britain pound, then in this case, my setting here, I need to change it to what's the exchange rate for Singapore dollar to Great Britain pound. So I need to factor it in order for my formula to work correctly. In this case, if I set it to 1:1, okay, let's run the backtest again. Okay, let's close so I'll run it at full speed. And let's check out the results. Yeah, so now it's correct. So if I have a loss here, for example, this is so if I have a losing trade, it's about $330 which is which is about 2.5% of the account. Is it currently correct? Because at this point the account was 15,280. So let's say it's 15,200 times 0.025. That should be about $380. So 335 for a loss. Yeah, it's pretty close. That's pretty close. In this, I think sometimes there's some slippage, or basically due to the spread, because I did put in 2 pips as a spread. And in this case, it's a little bit more accurate. So if I have a loss here, it's minus 352, which is closer to 2.5% of about 15,000. So in this case, 15,500. It's about there. So that will be the trade. Yep. But anyway, coming back to the result. So this robot is so based on backtest sounds pretty good, right? like made 6,300 in profit over the last how many days? 11 to 30th of March. So if I pop out a calendar and we do a calculation, so for your information, Forex only trades on working days. So for Saturdays and Sundays, the Forex markets are actually closed. So the expert advisor also does not trade on Saturdays and Sundays. So trade 11, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So for 14 days, it makes a profit of 6,000 in theory. This is based on backtest, which sounds pretty good, which is why I'm feeling pretty hopeful for this. It has a win percentage of 84%. That means out of 13 total trades, it made wins of 11 trades and it has losers of 2 losing trades. Seems pretty good, right? Now the question is, will this actually make money for me over the course of the next month? Which is something I have to test. Because the caveat here, the disclaimer here is that this is run on data based on March. And whether it will work for the month moving forward, which is the month of April 2020, I don't know. I have to put my money at risk to find out. Seems pretty good here, but there's no guarantee that the Euro-Dollar USD will behave in the same way that it does for the month of March. I hope it does, and I hope I can make this amount of money. Okay, so maybe a bit of explanation about how my expert advisor works. If you see here, so this, maybe I can just Control R to close this. Can just max out the screen. Okay, this will make the screen larger. Okay, so this Euro-Dollar USD 15-minute chart, I'm actually trading on a 15-minute chart, and has a bracket visual. It means this is the visual result of the backtest that I just ran. And okay, is it big enough? So let's zoom in further. Okay, so let's see. So I've keyed in my settings to trade at the beginning of each day, because that means my trading start time is at 0000 hours for this particular on-ender server. Take note that if you are running different brokers, for example, if you are like in my country of Singapore, there are brokers like CMC markets, IG markets, for example. Their main company servers are based on a different time zone in the world. So their version of 0000 hours, which is 12 o'clock, 12 midnight, is different for, let's say, a broker like IG Markets compared to a broker like On-Ender. So you have to factor this into account. So even though you can have the exact same settings as me, if you're running my robot, for example, you put it to trade at 12 midnight. If your broker is a different one, it will not do at exact same time. For example, I think On-Ender runs at GMT plus 2. Okay. One way for me to find out is, let me check what's the current chart's timing. So currently in Singapore time, it's about 2 p.m. and we are gonna clock in at 900 hours. So Singapore time is GMT plus 8. So 2 p.m. is 1400 hours in 24-hour time. So 1400 minus 900. So there's a 5-hour difference. So GMT 8 minus 5. So there's GMT plus 3, which means On-Ender servers run at GMT plus 3. So hence, if you're running a broker that has a server timing of maybe GMT plus 2, for example, that is where, if you are trading on 12 midnight, your robot would have entered the trade here. Which, would it win? I think it wouldn't have entered the trade here. So to explain how my program runs is, my program will try to detect a small candle. That means a small wick candle. And when it detects a small wick candle, the next following candle, it will enter a trade, which is on the reverse of the trend. That means it's trying to trade a reversal. This is from many backtests that I've done, which somehow it isn't 100% true, but sometimes, right, when the price candlestick starts to shrink, there is a chance that the trend is reversed, or the trend is reversing. For example, this is a downtrend, which is as indicated by this moving average 10. So this is a moving average line for 10 periods. So my robot places a trade in the reverse direction, which is a buy trade, when he detects that this candle is pretty small, sets a stop loss of 1 ATR, and a take profit of 1.5. So we can check here. So the trade is at here. So take profit is around 260 pips or 26 pips, and stop loss is 13 pips, which is it's correct, it's 2:1. But in live trading, somehow it doesn't really translate this way. I don't really understand. Let's check my account history. Yeah, let's look at my previous losses. 286, 226. Yeah, it's actually a bit smaller than I thought. Maybe I should have set the exchange rate counter currency to 1:1. It's okay. Maybe because, so it could be a 2:1, but because my losses were, not really, man. My losses were about $300, and when I made the winning trade, it's not even 400, so it's not even twice. Is it 1.5? Let's take $350 divided by 280. 360 divided by 280. Yeah, it's only like 1.2 times. So there are some iffy things going on that I need to work out over time during live trading, because during backtesting it appears perfect, but during live trading, not really so. So in this case, the trade actually won, it made profit. And let's go back to the earlier time. Okay, so this is, I think, on the 20, wait. So this was 27, 30th, there's no trade. 27. Oh, it did not trade on the 30th. Should I include the 30th? Let's go back to settings. Let's put today. Run the backtest again. Zoom in. Do you have a trade on the 30th? Yes, it does. So the trade on the 30th actually lost money. Let's Control R to close it. So you can see that it plays a buy trade because it detected a downtrend. But in the end, this trade almost made profit but didn't, so it got stopped out. Okay, so that's gonna make my results a bit on the, so there's one loss trade there. So a win percentage goes down to 78%. Okay, so I was looking at 27. So 27 we made profit, and 26 of March we made profit again. So same thing here, there was a downtrend here, and this was a really small candle, small because the open and close was pretty narrow. So the robot placed a trade on the buy side, and it took profit. And let's go to the 25th, which is so there's a sell candle. So in this case, it detected a small candle here, and it was on the uptrend. Okay, so my trading should have started in 12 midnight. So there's 12 midnight. Somehow this was a small candle, but it didn't detect this because my other condition was that the small candle must be very near to a recent support and resistance line. So I have a certain setting that sets a certain sensitivity based on the number of times of ATR that this small candle, the open and close, it has to be like near to here or near to here. For example, if this is an uptrend and the small candle was near to the resistance, recent resistance line here, then we'll have placed a sell trade. But in this case, it's not. So didn't, so we skip through this. This almost could have been a trade, I believe. perhaps it wasn't near enough to the recent resistance line, which is here as well. I think I detect the resistance line based on how many candles. Let's check. Yeah, the last 5 candles. So my program detects the support and resistance lines based on the last 5 periods. So in this case, the resistance was here. My small candle was way too far away, so I didn't place a trade. So these were big candles, so I didn't place a trade again. And in this case, this was a small candle, and this was the highest resistance line at that point in time, and hence my program placed a trade on the next period, which is a sell trade here because it was going uptrend. So it placed a sell trade. So stop loss was 13 pips, and take profit should have been 26, but you can see that due to the spread, it was only 24, 25, because I set in a spread of around 2 pips. So took profit here. Okay, let's go a bit further. Let's look at, so on the 20th, is that trading on 25th? So this is 25th. So what's the trade on the 24th? On the 24th, it seems to win as well. So at 12 midnight, this was a small candle, and I believe this was the lowest support. So it's quite near to the support, hence my program made a buy trade, which stop loss was somewhere down here, and it took profit here. Stop loss was, how was the ATR? 13 pips. So stop loss would have been somewhere down here, 13 pips. The take profit was about 13 times 2, which is about 26. So in this case, it was 27. And so on. So basically, this looks quite nice, and we shall see. So I have to trade this over probably the next month, the whole month of April if possible. And we'll see what results that it gives us. Okay, so thanks for watching. So I'll be trying to do more of this, what do I call this series? Automated Trading Chronicles. I'll be trying to do more Automated Trading Chronicles to chronicle sort of like my journey as an automated trader to hopefully one day become profitable at this. And maybe in the next sessions, I'll try to like tell more stories about how I came to this program. It was through a lot of trial and error, and some luck involved as well. And so probably I'll leave it for the next session. Thanks for watching, and have a good day, guys.